Okay, we're going to talk about the new Precision Glide POM wheel kit from Handy Quilter. Comes in a bag. Large bag has 4 wheels, 3mm Allen wrench, 3 1 1/4 1/4 bolts, 1 2-inch long 1/4 set screw, 1 jam nut, 1 nylon lock nut, 2 large OD washers, 4 thick washers for the inside of the wheel, and 8 thin washers for the outside of the wheels. That's the contents of the bag. All the washers and screws come in one bag. The encoder is going to be used from the machine from before, and we have a nylock nut, a large OD washer on one side of the stitch regulator encoder, another large OD washer on the other side, the jam nut, 2 thin washers, the wheel, and then a thick washer on the inside of the wheel. The other 3 wheels without the stitch regulator encoder are going to have the bolt, which is 1 1/4 inch, 2 thin shim washers, the wheel, and then the thick shim washer. The 4 wheels come in individual little plastic dividers to keep them protected. They're inside the big bag along with the little bag with the tools and screws and washers. So they're all inside. These are dual bearing wheels. To start with, we're going to put in the set screw. It's a 2-inch 1/4 set screw. It uses a 3mm Allen tool, which is included in the kit. We're going to screw it into the base plate of the machine. I want to show you that it goes into the side of the base plate where the P-pot is, with the power connections and the on-off switch for the machine. So again, here's the P-pot side. We're going to screw the set screw into the machine, 12 to 13 turns. This should make it so that all our components will fit properly onto the end of this set screw. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 turns. That'll leave the bolt sticking out appropriate length. We want the entire nylon lock nut to be engaged onto the bolts so that it won't get loose. Now we're going to slide on to the set screw bolt, 1 thick shim washer, then the dual bearing wheel. The ring line on the wheel goes inside towards the machine for consistency. 2 thin shim washers, we're going to tighten the wheel on fully with the jam nut. It's the thinner nut, not the lock nut. We're going to turn it on all the way and tighten it fully with our 7/16 wrench, which is not provided with the kit. Get it good and snug. It wouldn't hurt to spin the wheel to make sure after we tighten it that it's free. Now we're going to put on the large OD washer for one side of the. This washer protects the stitch regulator encoder bracket. The bracket on, then another large OD washer on the outside. I'm going to put the nylock lock nut with the acorn part out and the flat part in. There's our acorn part. semi-focused, the flat part in, and we're just going to put that on loosely because we have to swing up the bracket and get the tab on the bracket to go up over this tab here, up over the top of the base plate. So we don't want it too tight. Now we can go ahead and tighten the nut. We're going to tighten the nut until it makes contact with the bracket. And now it's tight. Now we're going to loosen it a little bit just so it's free. If it's a little tight, loosen it a little bit more until it's free. But if we loosen it too much, it'll be sloppy loose on the bolt. So we want it not tight and not loose. We want just enough freedom on it so it can move freely on the spring. Now the spring is going to be, coil spring is going to put on the little tab underneath the regulator. See if we can see the tab. The tab is, there's a tab, and then there's a little white nub on the bottom of the base plate that locates the spring. Spring goes on the tab on the bracket and then on the little bump on the bottom of the base plate, and that keeps it located so it can be free. We can check our wheel, make sure it turns freely on both the machine and the regulator and that the spring is free. Now we're going to look at the components for each of the other three wheels. We have the 1.25" bolt, 2 thin shim washers, the double bearing POM wheel, precision glide wheel, and a thick shim washer for the inside. So first we're going to put the 2 thin shim washers on the bolt on the outside, and then put that through the new precision glide wheel, then put the large thicker washer on the inside. I should say thicker, not large, and then thread that onto the machine. We're going to do this 3 times for the other 3 wheels. They're easy to put on. Now we're going to go ahead and tighten this fully, and then once it's snug, we're going to spin the wheel to make sure that the wheel is free and it doesn't have play in and out. A thick washer is included for the inside of each precision glide wheel, and 2 thin washers are included for the outside of each precision glide wheel. In many instances, the wheels will align perfectly with the aluminum track on your carriage with the washers arranged in this configuration. If an adjustment is necessary to align the wheels to the carriage track, start with the 2 wheels on the side of the machine opposite the stitch regulation encoder. If the wheel spacing is not wide enough, add thin outside washers to the inside of both wheels until the wheels on both sides of the machine align nicely with the radius on the tracks. To keep this simple, we recommend that this adjustment be done, if possible, with the washers on the machine side without the stitch regulation encoder. Note, when you change the washers on the wheels on one side of the machine, it will actually make both sets of wheels on the machine align better to the track if it's done correctly. If the wheel spacing is too wide, then you would remove the thick washer from the inside of both wheels on one side of the machine and use thin washers or whatever combination is needed until the wheels center on the track. Combine the washers on the 2 sides of the machine until the wheels are centered properly on the aluminum carriage tracks. The wheel radius will match the radius on the track when adjusted properly.